Are you a veteran or a military family member or even a caregiver of a veteran or military family member and you're in need of some help, some assistance? Everybody needs a little help sometimes. Everybody needs some assistance, whether it be you're struggling with habitation, you're struggling with homelessness, debt, monetary issues. Maybe you need a little help to get through a certain rough patch, unemployment, career stuff. Maybe you need some help filing a claim through the Department of Veterans Affairs. There's a million ways that you could need assistance. Sometimes you just need a little help. And the thing about the veteran community is any vet will tell you, you there's no problem finding. Well, the problem is finding, but there's an abundance of resources out there. We're not struggling for resources here. The problem is finding the right resource conveniently, and finding a resource that's valuable, that is targeted, that gets you the support that you need. Well, there is now a tool available that helps sort that out. For all of you that are in Wisconsin, veterans, military family members, caregivers, our friends at the Center for Veterans Issues here in Wisconsin have developed their own, from the ground up, they have developed their own app that you can use via mobile or desktop application that streamlines the process of getting you the help that you need. It takes the guesswork out of it. It lifts the fog. Any veteran will tell you fog when it comes to veteran related support issues or veteran serving organizations. There's almost too many to choose from. I need help with X. Who do I call? I got a list of 50 people here. Half the links are broken and the phone numbers are disconnected. How do I, what are the verified resources? CVI has solved that issue with this app. It's an incredible resource. And the numbers, the analytics behind their reach since their launch just a couple months ago, I think, has been out of this world. It validates that there has been a dire need for that in our community. And I applaud them and salute them for doing this. But you're not watching this to hear me talk about it. Let's go straight to the source. Today on Office Hours Live, brought to you by the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Your friends at the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce. We have very special guests. The executive director, the head honcho, the guy in charge of Center for Veterans Issues, our very good friend, Ed Garza. And in addition, we may also shortly be joined by, we'll see, Jason Johns, who's the state commander of the VFW. The VFW has been a very important collaborator on bringing this app to fruition. Really exciting stuff. It's been a big week for veterans in Wisconsin. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to get into it right after this. Motivated. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. How is it going? I am so ready to do this. I had a panic moment for a second. I realized when I played the video, it automatically mutes my microphone, right? But I didn't know that until just now. And so I thought this entire introduction up until this point, my microphone was muted. And I was like, white as a sheet. So if you can't hear me, or if you have been unable to hear me, please say something. I would hope that anybody watching this would send a comment out there that's like, dude, we cannot hear you. You are muted. That would have been a disastrous way to start the show out. But I know that I'm currently not muted and you can currently hear me. And if for some reason you can't, shoot me a message, whether you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitch. Throughout the duration of this conversation, throw your stuff out there. You got questions for Ed? You got questions for Jason? if and when he ends up joining us as a special guest, throw them out there. You got comments, concerns? You want to know more? Throw them out in the comments, or just say hi. We'd love to hear from you. But without further ado, Ed Garza, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Adam. Thanks for having me on the program.
You betcha. It's really exciting to see just how this evolved. And I can't wait to get into talking about the data behind the impact, the incredible impact of this app, which is straight up saving lives and livelihoods for the veteran community. Like we can't even exaggerate that. It's groundbreaking stuff. But before that, can you share with me where this came from? Have you always, since you took over at CVI, was it like, we got to have an app? Like, where did this thought come from? And tell me about the process, because it's not easy. You can't just make an app. It's not inexpensive or whatever. Can you, so talk us through that a little bit.
Sure. I've been with CVI for 2 years now, since May of 2019. And, shortly after my arrival, summer of 2019, there was a Southeastern Wisconsin Suicide Prevention Task Force that actually developed during that summer. And there was a lot of folks that were engaged with that task force in an effort to find ways to come up with solutions to be helpful in helping veterans not commit suicide, but to find the resources that would allow them to get the help that they need. Mm-hmm. And so this particular type of app was actually presented by a good friend of ours, Zach Zadroig, down in Racine, and said, hey, this could be a tool that we could potentially utilize here in Wisconsin. And so I think there was a lot of deliberation on how this tool could work, how we could put it together. And so I kind of had it in the back of my mind, figuring out how this could work for us. And then the pandemic hit in 2020. And so right around July, August timeframe, got a hold of the app developer, which was Bob Firth down at Informal Design from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay. And just an awesome guy. And his app is proven to connect people to resources. And the app, is utilized in Pittsburgh under the name bigberg.com. And then down in Louisville, louisconnect.com. And there's some other places like Los Angeles and back on the East Coast. And, talking to my staff, my leadership team, we needed to do something, especially here in Wisconsin, with what we were seeing on how veterans and their families were being affected by the pandemic. And so it took us a little bit to kind of develop it, how we wanted it to look and how we wanted it to work most specifically. And then working with the Southeastern Wisconsin Suicide Prevention Task Force, Impact 211, we initially got it off the ground to develop the concept of how we wanted it to work and put resources on the app. And then the VFW, Department of Wisconsin, came on board and became a major player with us to help make sure that this app would be relevant under Commander Johns' leadership here in Wisconsin. His tagline is, be relevant, but ours at CVI is make it happen. And so we are, working together to make sure that, most importantly, the resources that we add to the app are relevant. And when people call, there is a person answering the phone when they make that call. It does not make sense for us to have organizations where they're not answering the phone. We need people to pick up the phone and help now. There's a lot going on. And so we partnered with the VFW. We launched the app February 1st officially, and it became live, where you can download it from the Apple or Google stores for free. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, the response has been tremendous. And what we've seen in 4 months that we've been live with this, and it's been pretty incredible. But most importantly, it's a tool that people who jump on the tool, CVI Help, can hopefully find what they're looking for in about 2 to 3 clicks, get directions, they get information on the phone number to call, and just start getting connected. And so, we track the analytics of how this is working. And to date, we're about 670 organizations on our app.
Nice.
Providing
all in Wisconsin, right?
All in Wisconsin. And they're providing 729 different services that are available. And, we have 56 safe places that are listed on the app for people. And to date, we've had, just under 700 people use the app with 522 downloads. But I think the most important piece of information is that the app has provided right around 8,100 pieces of information to people who are looking for resources here in Wisconsin to get connected to. Everything from food pantries to meals to housing to safe places, to job employment, supportive services, organizations that are just there to help, and information for veterans and dependent survivors. And, it's great. And so I think the other big piece, because CVI does a lot of different things providing services to veterans and families, is that this app has helped create a new connection to our CVI website where people can find out the various different programs that we have. And so in 4 months, the app has helped develop or bring in around 50 to 5,200 new users to our website who are looking for information. And our service deliverables are through the roof right now, and mainly because we're still dealing with the pandemic in some kind of way, but we're still out there serving the veterans and families. And CVI, across Wisconsin, we cover 54 counties out of the 72. And so our staff of 79 are working hard around the clock, especially during the pandemic. I mean, everyone was an essential worker, because when our veterans are in need, they don't get a break. Things are a little harder. We got to be available. And that's what we did throughout the pandemic and still continue to do.
And now was that then the need that you feel needed to be met or addressed by this app? I had mentioned it in the intro, but realized I should probably let you be the one to convey it. But was the inspiration behind this app saying there is a need, there is a gap between veterans and the resources they seek, and we want to bridge that gap and make that communication easier and lift the fog and have like a reliable avenue? Is that it, or is there more to it, more to that?
I think that's basically it.
Okay.
Look, we needed something,
Yeah.
Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Green Bay, however you look at it, we as a veteran community needed something that would serve as a one-stop shop,
Mm-hmm.
right? And say, hey, look, the resources we're adding to this are legitimate. And
Right.
we're working, our marketing team is working hard. They're working with the organization's leadership to make sure that, hey, when you put this on here, be ready to get some phone calls. And we've seen that. And
Right.
most importantly, we needed to do something during the pandemic that would help bring some relief, because I mean, when people are in need, they may not always know where to go. But if
Right.
there was a place where they can go through the app and search specifically what they're looking for, our goal was to help them find it and get connected to the resources and get the help that they need.
Right. Now, what were your biggest challenges or pain points or hurdles uh, between the inception of the idea in your brain and the launch at the beginning of February? Was it pretty smooth sailing, or were there some challenges that you needed to overcome to make it happen?
Well, there was a little bit of some challenges. I mean, we had fundraise to be able to
Mm.
to do this, and
Apps aren't cheap.
nope, absolutely not. And we had a lot of great private donors and some philanthropic
Excellent.
organizations who wanted to help us make a difference, and the VFW, most importantly. And as anything, when you want to launch an idea about something, you got to have a game plan behind it, and to
Right.
show people how you expect this thing to work. And when we presented this thing of launching an app that would connect veterans and families to resources, but most importantly, our community neighbors can find these resources too, if they know a veteran in need or a family in need, or if they're looking for food pantries and places to get a meal. This serves everybody. And so that's the goal. We needed to make a difference during a very difficult time in the middle of last year when the pandemic was really tough in Wisconsin. And so, I mean, the goal was, how do we help?
Right.
And if we can make this a viable tool, let's see what we can do. And so it took a little while to get it together. I think probably one of the most difficult things were understanding what we could put on the app and what we couldn't.
Right.
And I
Right.
mean, one of the big things that we couldn't do was just put information about COVID testing sites and things like that because it's constantly evolving. You know,
Right.
we couldn't put that specifically, but uh, other than that, I mean, it was pretty smooth sailing. It was a
Good.
lot of information to go through and add, but we've also been on the road talking about the app and showing what it's capable of doing.
Hmm.
And we're getting a lot more people emailing and calling and asking to be on our app. So
Yeah.
it's been a great thing.
And how do you vet those folks then? I would imagine if you have 100 people call and say, like, I'm a resource to help veterans, they don't just automatically get granted, a position there because they could be, not a developed or not a targeted nonprofit, maybe a predatory organization that says they help vets, but not. So how do you screen that to ensure that this pipeline is a quality straight shot?
Well, we're checking out their website, their ability to put out information. We're having conversations, and so we take the role as being the filter, if you
Mm,
will, for veterans. And if this is something we as a team would not utilize, we don't want to put that out there and misconstrue any information where veterans will get confused about what's really out there. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's just it has to be a good fit for us and what we're trying to do.
mm.
And this is not for everybody, but if a lot of these organizations are dedicated to providing the service and we can see that, yeah, we're all in.
Yeah.
Work with us, and we're happy to partner. And this tool has also been a great tool to build some camaraderie. It's been a
Totally.
great tool that is breaking down, organizational silos. We're all working together. We're partnering together. We're maximizing our strengths and limiting our weaknesses across the board. And my pitch and big part of what I'm saying is we need to be working together to make sure that the greater good is being served for those that are in
Mhm.
need. And so a lot of people jumped on board and are, I'm excited to have them just as they're excited to be on the app. And, and right now to be on our app is a completely free service. We,
Right
we
on.
need, we need resources to help veterans and their families. This is not a money making deal for us. We want to be able to put that out there and get people connected with the help that they need. It's just that simple.
That's amazing. Well, and you mentioned the cooperation in the veteran community and amongst veteran serving organizations in the state of Wisconsin, something you and I have chatted with offline or chatted about offline several times. Just the need for cooperation in the veteran community and among all the veteran serving organizations, because all boats rise, and we're all working together here. And so I applaud CVI and Ed, you yourself, the work that you're doing to really bridge those gaps, because there was a while there where the veteran community wasn't cooperating the way that they should, and so I appreciate that you're the beacon that came out and said, like, look, this isn't the way it should be. Let's work together. And not only are you saying that, but you're leading by example, which I think is incredible. Folks that are watching, we're here with Ed Garza, who is the executive director of the Center for Veterans Issues here in Wisconsin. If you have questions, please, if you have questions for Ed, questions about CVI, questions about the new CVI Help app, please throw them in the comments. Doesn't matter what platform you're watching on, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or just give us a howdy. Shout hello. We are here to serve you and to answer your questions. It is Technology Month at the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce. So we are talking technology in this app. So if you want to get this app for free, which can bridge the gap between you and the resources you need, whether you're a veteran family member, surviving dependent caregiver, go to cvihelp.com or download the CVI Help app. It's a great app. I've futzed with it several times. It's rock solid and it gets you to where you need to go, which is really cool. So very, very, very excited to share that with everybody. Check that out. And also very exciting, fantastic timing. We've just been joined by our good friend, Jason Johns, who is the state commander of the VFW. Jason, welcome, my friend. How are you? Can you hear me? I think you might be muted.
During,
Yeah.
you might want, like you said, to set up some sort of procedure and put it on the website. And so, and I know we talked about.
I kind of was just hearing some background noise there. It's all good. While we're getting that figured out, folks, throw out your questions in the comment section. Let's try that again. Say something, John. Give me a check 1, 2. I think we might be squared away. Can you hear me, John? Or Jason. Jason John. Sorry about that.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Excellent, Jason.
There we go.
Jason Johns, the state commander of the VFW. Welcome, my friend. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Good to be here.
Yeah, you bet.
How you doing, Ed?
Good. How we doing?
Good, brother.
Now, you two talking about veteran cooperation. Great timing on this. The VFW has played, in addition to all the amazing things that you were doing on behalf of the veteran community in the state and nationwide, you have collaborated with CVI and provided a lot of support and a lot of resources to make this new CVI Help app and desktop application a reality. Can you tell us, Jason, about how that connection came about, and just your relationship with and what you've done to help launch this app?
Absolutely. Well, I got to give a lot of credit to Ed here. He was the go-getter he is. He'd reached out to me early last fall, looking to connect. Saw it came on as commander in June, wanted to talk about what CBI is up to and how the VFW can work with them. And at the time, I was going here and there and getting transitioned in and dealing with COVID and trying to get meetings going and virtual meetings. And as he'll tell it, I blew him off, but that's not the case. What it was is he went on a very long list of callbacks. And so when I finally got around to getting a hold of him there in December, we had quite the conversation and chat and hit it off immediately. Picked up on what his motivation, his passion was, and similar ones. And I said, you know what, I need to get down there. We need to meet together in person. Got to see what you're doing up at CVI and the facility itself, what they're doing there.
Mm-hmm.
Been going on for years, and many may not know that. But that in and of itself is a wonderful thing. And then we started talking about the app that he was working on and his team was working on, and that being of the post 9/11 generation and looking at ways, how do we get this information out to the veterans in the state, both from a VFW perspective, right? Because a lot of great programs we have going on that it's hard to get the information out there necessarily if they're not on social media. Well, here's an opportunity to get those involved, not maybe on social media, don't have the phone, right? So our members can be helping these veterans on the spot. Hey, you walked into the VFW post, or I bumped into you at a different meeting, or I bumped into you at a VA, group therapy meeting. And hey, what do you need? What help do you need with? I can help you with that with my phone. I have no idea necessarily where those programs are, who runs them, how to get a hold of them. But guess what? My app does. So now every person out there with a smartphone can help veterans get to the benefits they need, the help they need. And I was all over it. And so we talked about some more, to my council, and said, you know what, we want to support this. Hence is why you got the powered by the VFW of Wisconsin, because this is something that we recognize is an area that we always want to help always work in, but we're not the experts, right? Ed's team is, and veterans groups and veterans organizations in general need to start thinking outside that box, getting outside their silos and saying, I'm really good in this area, but I'm not so good in this area. So instead of trying to do what you're doing in your awesome area, how about we do our stuff together and prevent the whole package? So anyway, yeah, that's where we are.
That's outstanding. We got a couple great comments. Alex says, I'm glad to see these organizations, programs come together in the spirit of community and common purpose. Awesome. Just awesome. And Daniel, that sounds like an incredible app. I'm a transitioning Marine of 27 years of service, looking forward to relocating to Wisconsin. Well, Wisconsin welcomes you and providing assistance once settled in place. And Ed had a great point earlier. This sounds like a great opportunity, not only for the people that are looking for resources, but if you want to advise somebody else on where they can find resources, or you want to help veterans and don't know where to go, If you want to help veterans achieve blank or donate to an organization that helps veterans do blank, there's an opportunity for you to check that out. And you know, a lot of the legacy veteran service organizations, I know, and I'm sure you'll agree, over the past years have struggled, at least on a local level, with modernization. And that's something I personally, I remember I wrote an article a couple years ago that blew up, that was more critical than it should have been, and I very much apologize about that.
No,
But I'm sure you'll agree, some of the legacy VSOs have struggled with modernization, but here you are on the forefront, investing in this technology that, as you said, engages the way the post 9/11 veterans, the way they need to be engaged. Did you struggle getting buy-in from the rest of your colleagues at the VFW to get behind this, or was everybody like, dude, we need to do this, let's go?
right. The simple answer to that is no, I didn't struggle. It's been great.
Awesome.
From a state leadership perspective, I've kind of signified the turning point, if you will, in the handoff from the Vietnam generation to the next generation. Being the first post 9/11 veteran elected state commander, there's been all the state leadership. The one coming behind me is an Iraq vet. We've got a Korea vet, not Korean War, but served in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of our council district commanders, right? I'd say about half an hour, working their way up through there. And so they're getting it. And the Vietnam veterans have been fantastic from the state level as far as recognizing, you know what, I've done my part, done my time, I'm still going to help, but we do need to support this move forward. And so now it's about, getting it out there, getting our posts, like you said, at the local level, right? It's one thing at the state, and then it's another thing at the local level to be able to get this technology out there, getting some broadband and some more posts around the state. Right. Because there are, right, smaller posts that necessarily don't have that capability, maybe don't have a younger veteran as a member who's active. And so trying to get this out there is our next step in sharing this with them. So you're right, though, Adam. It's been too long coming. And I'm pleased to say the VFW has taken leaps and bounds this year, and we're working with, we even found some resources to work with marketing company, really amp that social media game. And guys are just coming along to it. Guys and gals are really starting to come along to it. You just got to make it available and make it easy, right?
Right.
And so that's the key.
And this can be for either of you. What do you see currently as maybe some of the current challenges with the app, or maybe things that you see could be improved in the future? Or maybe what is the vision 5 years from now? How does the app evolve over time to ensure that it stays relevant? And either you can field this one.
I'll go ahead and take that. Well, I think we were pushed into this whole new technology world because of the pandemic. We all needed to make adjustments in how we do business, because a lot of us were essential workers, and you think about the healthcare folks, police, fire, they all had to make accommodations, and so did we. And so while, the pandemic was a bad thing, there were some positives that came out of that, and pushing us into this new world of technology and implementing this new tool has really connected us a lot better. Not only here in Milwaukee, but just around the state. And so an example of that would be, I want to thank the gentleman who came in and made some chats and comments this morning on the call. But our app is now, or has been downloaded and utilized in 30 different states across the country already.
Nice.
And so when you see people making comments on your show today about, hey, I'm looking to relocate back to Wisconsin or whatever, this app is providing resources and a tool for people when they start looking to come back to Wisconsin, that there's some resources here.
Oh, there are transition resources on the app as well?
There is. Yep.
Absolutely. Cool. Very
cool. Another component of the app in helps in technology is that the app is also bilingual. If you click on the top right corner where it says English and hit the little heart, it converts everything to Spanish. So now we're addressing the needs of our Spanish speaking community and the families who take care of the veterans. So a lot of folks go back to their native language and want to be connected. And so they can also connect, and the app fulfills that purpose in using technology to do so. I think 3 to 5 years down the road, Commander Johns and I have talked about this, that this app needs to stay relevant, and we need to stay the course in how we continue to get organizations that are going to be able to answer that phone when someone calls. I think that the bigger challenge will be for the app designers as this app continues to grow and be bigger. How does that platform keep up with the volume that we're bringing to the app? And so, I mean, we're having those discussions now in order to not have any delays in how we grow. And so, other than that, I think the cool part is, CBI has been connected to our friends down in Indianapolis. CVSOs down there are calling, how can we be on your app? This is great. And what we're telling everybody is we're teaching them the life lessons that we've learned and how we put this together. We're connecting them to Bob at Informal Design in Pittsburgh. And we are sharing our tracking tools, the analytics, and how we're working and how we're tracking to be effective, simply because they're serving veterans as well. And we want them to be successful. This is not a sailor with the secret kind of deal. We're all in the business of helping veterans and families, and whatever they need from us, we're standing by. We may even be making a trip down in Indianapolis and give a presentation on the life lessons we've learned kind of growing through this and how it's effectively making changes in Wisconsin, developing partnerships and getting organizations involved. But that's kind of where I see it. It's going to continue to grow. It'll get some traction. We're glad to have the VFW posts on there, like Commander John said, and people come to them. They now know that CBI is out here. We can get connected and provide services and keep that flow of information going. So don't know if Commander Johns wants to add anything to that, but that's kind of where we see it from CBI's perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. I got nothing much more to add than to also say, I see this as, and Ed and I have talked about this, it's not only a tool for a veteran in need, right? It's for those in our community as well. There's other resources on here, because one of the things, that all veterans do, right? When we continue to serve by getting involved in organizations and veteran service organizations and other nonprofits, is we want to serve in our communities. And so this is a tool for veterans to also help serve their other community members, whether they're veteran or not, and to connect with other veterans, right? Because a lot of the information and a lot of the folks and companies and nonprofits you're going to see on the app, they're probably involved. There's either veterans employees there, they were started by a veteran, they're veteran owned, whatever it may be. And so it allows you to kind of, we're always trying to connect with other veterans, and we try to find these groups on Facebook, and we try to reach out, and we try to go to join the VSOs. But here's another tool to go say, hey, look at, this guy's a vet, and he has, he owns the kennel down the street. You know what? I want to go talk. Things like that, right? And he's providing these resources. So, yeah, it's fantastic.
It's amazing the work that Jason and Ed, both of you, are doing. I mean, the veteran community had for a very long time, at least in this area, and Ed and I were talking about this earlier about how our veteran community wasn't cooperating the way that they should have. And to have your two organizations say, look, that's enough. We're going to lead the way and lead by example and forget everything before. We're going to lead, we're going to lead forward together. I mean, there can only be good for the veteran community. And I think you two are the right guys for the job to lead the charge. And I think that's great that you're paying it forward by helping folks in other states do the same thing. And it just proves your intentions, to make the veteran world a better place. We have a good comment from Ron. Hi, Mr. Garza, Mr. Johns. Love the setup of the app. I see most focus on the Milwaukee area. Would love to have my office, Oconto County Veteran Service Office, added. There you go. So that brings up a really, really good question. What if someone is a resource and they want to get on this app? At Garza, how do they get on this app?
I tell you what, they can email our team at info@cvivet.org or give us a call, and they'll get connected to me, and I'll get them connected with our marketing team. And just last week I had my vice president of programs and services, Mike Beal, at the state convention for the county veteran service officers, and he gave a presentation out there last week, and we're starting to get a few more people who from the county veteran service officers to want to be on our app, which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. But I want to make this note that while we could automatically just put things out there, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be effective. We want people to let us know, hey, we're standing by, we're ready to go to work.
Right.
Please add us to the app, and we'll get you on there. Because if we start adding places and things, we're taking that chance that phone's not going to be picked up on the other end. We want to make sure that this is going to be, something people are ready for. Because from what we're seeing and what we're hearing, people are using the app and the resources, and they're calling. And
Absolutely.
so we want to be able to provide that service.
That's great. And Ron says, sorry if that was covered. I joined late. No, it was perfect timing, and you prompted us to talk about it. That's how you submit your stuff. And then Ed and his team over at CVI verifies everything they need to verify. And it is a free process for people that are a quality resource for veterans. Ron had mentioned that right now it seems centered around southeastern Wisconsin. We, as the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce, we're headquartered in Milwaukee. So we also have, there's a stigma attached to us that we focus on southeastern Wisconsin, even though we have events throughout the state. How are you putting that foot forward? Because I feel your pain on that one. We've had folks go like, when are you coming to Madison? All you do is stuff in Milwaukee. It's like we had 26 events in Madison last year. Give me a break. That was pre-COVID, of course. But like, how are you getting the word out to all those corners and nooks and crannies of this state where you serve that may not be around where you're headquartered?
So I'll add to that real quick, or address that real quick, Ed. And first off, Ron, thanks for the message, brother. Good to hear from you. Keep up the good work in Oconto. And yes, I know Ed and I, one of the first things we said was, we want to make sure all 72 CVSOs are on here. It's an on the ground boots resource that we both support. VFW supports, and the app just launched in February. And so getting the word out, please share that with your other CVSOs. Get a hold of, like Ed said, with info@cvivet.org, and we'll definitely get you on there. To get the word out, man, we've been cramming social media. Ed and I have been putting out videos. It's a lot of word of mouth right now, Adam, as you can imagine. Every speech that I'm out doing, every event that I'm at, I'm mentioning this. And so, again, we're 4 months in, and it's growing. But the message, I guess, at the end of the day is, like Ed said, if you're out there to work and serve, help veterans, help people in the community, not just veterans, but in general, provide a value, you're more than likely going to get on this app. So please get that in there and help us spread the word.
Excellent. Yeah, it's going to take time and getting the word out. Ed, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, it's exactly what Commander John said, and that's kind of how he and I are pounding the pavement and taking that road show around Wisconsin and letting people know what we're doing. There's a comment from Alex that he's met a veteran who's struggling with finances, and if we had a program that would at least help provide some information or assistance, depending on what his financial issues are, our supportive services for veteran families grant, which we facilitate across 54 counties. Please call our office. Here in Milwaukee, we've got sub offices in Green Bay, Fond du Lac, Eau Claire, La Crosse, down in Racine, Waukesha, Milwaukee. We'll provide some assistance, but please have that gentleman call CVI and ask to talk to Mike Beal, and we'll try to get some connection here and see what we can do to provide some assistance. So I appreciate the question, and we look forward to helping that brother out as well.
Ed, can I piggyback on that?
Yes, sir.
The app with CVI is we have our Quick Relief Fund, which is formerly known as the Unmet Needs Fund. This provides quick, within a week or two tops, payments directly to quality life. Got to get the car paid to get to work. Got to get the mortgage paid so you're not getting evicted. Need groceries. You can go to vfwwi.org, download that app, you submit it in via email, and we got up to $1,500 grants for veterans, their families. You don't have to be a VFW member. We've been working with Charlie Behrens, the Manitowoc Minute. He's been promoting this on his Cripes cast. He's donated up over $30,000 now. That's just in this past year.
Personally?
From sale of his merchandise. Yep.
Whoa.
All directly into the QR, right? Yeah, he's a great guy. Supports a lot of great nonprofits, as you know, and yeah, just from his viewers just buying that merchandise, and he
Mhm.
donates 100% when he does to the VFW QRF, and so we got the money there, and we're just looking for people to get it to. So please spread the word on that as well. It's a great program.
For those of you that don't know who Charlie Barons is, if you live in Wisconsin, you don't know who Charlie Barons is, you need to look him up and look up Manitowoc Minute, and then also look up how to make an old fashioned.
Yes.
It's pretty classic. Guys, I feel like I could chat with the two of you for hours. I can't tell you how appreciative I am and the whole veteran community is, and how impressive this movement is, and the way that the two of you are really driving the bus and to make some positive change for the veteran community here. I applaud the both of you for all the work that you're doing. And I thank you on behalf. I can't speak for the whole veteran community, but I can sure share our gratitude. I mean, this is some great stuff that you guys are doing. Is there anything that, in closing, as we're rounding third here and getting waved on home, is there anything that you want to add in closing? People, you can see cvihelp.com going across the bottom. Look up CVI Help, the app. There's a space between CVI and Help. CVI space Help app on Google, Android, Apple, all that stuff. Is there anything that you guys want to add? Maybe we can start with Commander Johns.
Yeah. You know what? I appreciate. We've talked about a lot, even in just this short time here, Adam. So thank you, and thank you for the recognition of what we're working on here, and this being something new. I guess the message I would leave with your viewers is everyone can be an advocate. Everyone can serve. It's just, especially now with this app, it's easier than ever. And so I encourage you to please do so. And for those veterans out there, get involved in your community. Get involved with, I don't care if it's the VFW, the American Legion, the DAV, volunteering at CVI, volunteering at the food pantry. Just every time you can do that, make another veteran's life better, make community life better. Please get it done.
You betcha. Well said, Commander Johns. And what about you, Mr. Garza?
Well, I feel the same sentiment as Commander Johns, and just a small piece that I'll add is, there's a lot of information out there to help support veterans and families, and it's tough to know everything, but it's easy to make a phone call, and if we can make that phone call to someone who can help provide some assistance, that's just as good as providing it yourself. And so I want to take this opportunity also to thank Commander Johns for his tenure as state commander of the VFW. I know that's coming to a closure for him here pretty soon, and want to thank him for his leadership, for what he's done for veterans here in Wisconsin, and I wish him well in his next chapter of leadership in the veteran community. So, Commander Johns, thank you for your support and your leadership here in Wisconsin.
Well, thank you, Ed. You made that sound so final. If you're going to turn over the gavel in a couple of weeks, I'm probably going to be down at CVI talking with you about what the next steps are as past commander and the VFW Foundation, and keeping this partnership rolling. So thanks for the breath you brought into CVI and all this, man. I really.
Oh man alive!
Someone like Adam brings it up and shows from the outside. It's fantastic. So thank
you. The door is open and the coffee's hot. So hey. And every chubby little kid likes donuts, and so I like donuts. So we're good.
Well, both of you guys, Ed Garza and Jason Johns. Ed Garza, Executive Director, Center for Veterans Issues, and Commander Jason Johns, who is the VFW State Commander for the state of Wisconsin. Both of these gentlemen have been doing outstanding work to bring their organizations into levels of productivity and relevance that are just, you're on fire, and you're continuing to grow and do things the right way. Can't tell you how appreciative I am of both of you. I'll ask you both to hang on the line really quick while I close out here. Wow, that was awesome. Definitely looking forward to chatting more with these awesome guys again here in the future. Check out cvihelp.com or look up the CVI Help app. The VFW, CVI working together to bring resources and to shorten that pipeline between veterans and the resources they need. This is an incredible resource. Check it out. Share it with a veteran in need, or if you're looking for a veteran organization to serve, do it through the app. It's good stuff. And if you joined late welcome, but go back and watch this again. We're on YouTube. All of these videos live on in perpetuity in YouTube. I would encourage you to follow the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce on YouTube. We're trying to grow there. It's so hard. YouTube's a weird beast, but please subscribe to us over there. And then you can go back and you can watch all the finer points of our office hours live. Well, friends, every week, 11:30 a.m. Central, same place, same time. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch. Please follow us across all platforms. We appreciate you. I'll see you next week.